Pat, legislature and the governor responsible for local tax rates?
I had 2 minutes and I need 20. First of all, I'm a former mayor. I was a mayor and council member in Egan for about 12 years. I'm also the former state auditor. It's state auditor audits local units of government, and I know just about everything anyone would never want to know about finances for local units of government and the relationship with the state. First of all, I don't buy your promise that the tax burden quote gets shoved down. That's part, but that is part of the argument. That's the argument that's been occurring. And I think that that is a huge problem that we have with right now in Minnesota. We have, and it has to do with LGA, it has to do with county mandates that the state has on counties. They say they got to provide these services, and they cut their HACA. The same, we're cutting LGA, and you go back to the whole purpose of LGA. It isn't what it was supposed to be. Then you have the locals and the state fighting, and everybody points the finger at the other one and says it's his fault, and it's his fault. And we, as citizens, sit here and wonder, okay, what is reality? And you get into that debate. There needs to be more of a separation between state and local governments. We have to stop, as the state, we have to stop mandating things to cities and counties, and we need to let them have their independence. And I don't support the state telling them how to tax either. What rates, if they want to build a whatever, they should be able to do that locally, if that's the decision. But it needs to be paid for locally. And that is not what's been occurring. Through LGA, the state has, all right, I'm done. Well, anybody want to talk about it later in the hallway?
It's tough being one of the latter answers. I know there's still some more to go. Because,
it was bad enough when in my campaign there was 3 of us.
You know, I think the answer to the question is ideally no. The state should not be telling local units of government, counties or cities, what those local units of government should or shouldn't be doing with local tax dollars. But as Pat was just talking about, the problem is that we have entwined the state and local units of government through fiscal relationships that absolutely need to be addressed. I don't think, politicians talk about HACA and LGA. I don't think people really understand the significance of that. Hundreds of millions of dollars every 2 years of your tax money, your income tax money, your sales tax money, is being taken by the state of Minnesota and then redistributed out to local units of government. We have cities and counties in the state of Minnesota that are operating with 50, 60, 70% of their dollars from you. And as long as the people here in Carver County or Dakota County or wherever the case may be are funding city services in Virginia, I'll tell you what, Dave, it drives me nuts that the city of Virginia comes down and complains they don't get enough LGA, but they hire a local gardener, a community gardener. So I have supported levy limits in the past for cities that rely on state money to fund local services. I agree with Pat. If you want, oh, I gotta stop. Yeah. Fund local things with local dollars, I'm all for that.
Mike.
Oh, they're getting my passion going. I was a mayor before I was a state senator. I got involved in politics because I was sick of lazy, good-for-nothing politicians. When I was mayor of East Bethel, we took LGA out of our budget. The day I got elected and went to the state senate, the new mayor put it back in. Then he whined to the whole world that, oh, the budget got cut. We knew for 5 years we knew LGA was going out, so we were able to budget out. The whole time Jesse Ventura was there, we knew LGA was on its way out. We knew homestead credits were on the way out. If you are too darn stupid to read the handwriting on the wall, I do not feel sorry for you. Do not suck up to the state and tell me you need more money. Do I need to be more passionate than that? There are 1,334 different taxing entities in the state of Minnesota. We need to control some of them, and the biggest one is watershed districts that have a taxing authority. They are unelected, unaccountable people that tax you, take your money, and spend it to go fight you. I just had an issue yesterday where they were going to give a watershed district, a county soil and water district, we're going to fine a guy $150,000 for wetland violations. It was only because I showed up and other people showed up, and because I have the background in environmental sciences, that I looked at the watershed district, I looked at the conservation district, and I said, where's the problem? And they said, you know what, Senator, we can come up with a compromise. You need to know what's going on in order to save the country and people from this lunacy.
Marty, should the state government be messing with local taxes?
We all want to be purists on worshiping at the altar of local control, and I understand that when people up here have been on local councils and mayors, and I respect that. But at the end of the day, the job is to protect life, liberty, and property when you're the CEO of the state. And when property taxes go up exponentially year after year, when the elderly are getting very little in Social Security or other pensions, we are taking away their property. And we're forcing them out of their homes. And some of you may say, well, who cares? Vote out the local units of government people. In Minneapolis, where they have 13 Democrats in the council and the Democrat mayor, I had people coming to me at the state fair and said, we have sanctuary cities for illegal aliens. I think that jeopardizes people's life and liberty in my district, because I had the 4 kids in the Cottonwood bus accident get killed by an illegal alien. In fact, I would say right now, if we go into an allotment, I brought this up to the governor at breakfast this morning over at the mansion, if we go into an allotment again, he should tell Minneapolis and St. Paul, I'm going to unallot 100,000 a day of LGA until you get rid of sanctuary city policy. We need to start being creative. We need to start being creative. You know, when the local units of government violate protection of life, liberty, and property, when their taxes are going up exponentially, I am for levy limits. California had this. It was out of control for years and years in the 70s. So, you know, I may be different than some of the other folks here. Within reason, we need to get rid of mandates, unfunded mandates, absolutely. But within reason, we need to protect people.
Marty, why do you presume that someone serving in St. Paul is going to be more sensitive to life, liberty, and property rights than someone serving in Bloomington?
I don't know about Bloomington, but I can tell you in the city of Minneapolis, the number of people from Minneapolis who came to me and said, property taxes are out of control, sanctuary cities are out of control, the budget is out of control, I can't get my city councilman removed because everybody's a Democrat, I can vote with my feet and move out to Edina, but they love their neighborhood, they're born and raised there. So, you know, I know we're going to have, this may be one of the few areas where some of us disagree on this, but I'm not going to be a purist. I came to the legislature, I worshiped at the altar of local control. And when I found out some of the things going around the state of Minnesota, I know some people become cynical about this and say, well, you know, vote those people out. You're going to vote out Democrats in the Iron Range? Because when you have a tyrannical majority that beats up the minority, the business community, the Republicans who live in nicer houses, whatever it is, what kind of relief do they have other than leaving their home? So ultimately, it is our job to protect life, liberty, and property, and we need to articulate that.
All right, we now will start with Leslie on this question, and we'll be heading back that way. Local government aid was brought up, and I had a question on local government aid. It's a fairly simple one. I think we'll do our rapid fire on this one. Should we completely eliminate all local government aid? We'll go in the order of the question.
No.
I think we need to look at it.
Not immediately. No.
No.
No? No.
As it exists right now, yes.
Boy, you know, sometimes I'm not a very good forecaster of what I'm going to hear. Okay, then. If you're going to be that way, Leslie, and all of you, most of you, all local government aid is wealth redistribution. All it is taking from City A and giving it to City B for some benevolent reason like the bad guys do. Why don't you want to eliminate that? Go.
You know, there's not a one-size-fits-all, and when you're going to be proposing to be the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, or the manager of the state of Minnesota, you have to look at things with vision and open eyes, and you can't just allow people to be victimized. Not that you're a dictator, but you have a responsibility. I understand that the governor's basic job is to present the budget. And it doesn't end at that point because you have responsibility to the people. And they look to you for some direction. I'm not talking about pouring local government aid into your friend's community, but to looking at each individual situation with open eyes and seeing what they need to help them out. You got to help people out. I know sometimes we take a hard look and you want to be real tough and strong, but not everybody in Minnesota is as tough and strong as some of us are. So to have a blanket yes or no and we're going to eliminate local government aid, I don't think is fair. I think you need to kind of take a look at it and balance things from a fair, reasonable, mature perspective.